Down in the forest, in the deepest wood, where the trees wave tall and the air is good, there's a special place you can only imagine. It's a place of invention called Molly's Cabin.
Join me at my cabin each week to find out what I'll be making. Hey, you found my cabin. I'm going to make something outside today. Why don't you come with me? Welcome everyone to this week's Making with Molly video, where I have brought you out to my garden. And this week we are going to be making a toad abode, which is a special home for toads. If you watched my storytelling video this week of Pip, he met with a toad and he actually upset this toad, and this toad ended up making Pip smell really bad. And it turns out that that's true. Toads do actually excrete a horrible, sticky, foul-smelling liquid to scare away any predators or anyone that might hurt them or upset them. So even though we want to welcome the toads into our garden, and you might go out looking for toads, try not to touch them. Just leave them be, and you can avoid ending up like Pip. To make our toad abode, you need to find a very shady, dark corner of your garden, or in the woods if you did want to make one out in the local woods if you don't have a garden at home. But here I am in the shadiest part of my garden with my terracotta pot, which I'm going to use for the toad abode. As you can see, it's broken, which is perfect because this is the entrance. And toads need to be able to get inside, but I mean it doesn't matter too much because toads are known to burrow under the ground, under plant pots and under stones and logs, so don't worry too much about a front door. They'll get in there if they really want to. So I'm going to just put it over here against the fence, out the way, and then you can fill it with lots of stones and sticks. You might want to do it that first and then put the pot on the top. So I've got some stones, bits of brick and some sticks. The stones and the sticks are just to make it extra cold and damp in there, and so that the toads feel extra safe and cosy. If you're not lucky enough to have a terracotta pot sitting around your garden to use to make your toad abode with, you can use other things as well, because toads absolutely love logs, and they love damp leaves, and they love sticks, and they love big rocks and stones. So you could just create an area in your garden, a corner by the fence, where you've laid loads of logs and leaves and stones, and just keep it there undisturbed, and you might just find some toads. Don't forget, it's a great idea if you make sure that your neighbours have a gap in their fences so that you can create wildlife corridors. And this means that all kinds of wildlife, from insects to hedgehogs and toads, can all travel from garden to garden to garden to garden. Here's a video from a little while ago when I found a toad which seemed to be very happy in his own little restaurant because he had an abundance of slugs to eat. Have a look. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, I've not seen so many green leopard slugs in my life. That is amazing. Cool, I wonder if you can count them all. 1, 2, 3, cool, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 leopard slugs. Now these are actually known to be the biggest slugs there are in the UK, that is, in our country. And there's lots of different types of slugs, but you commonly see these in our gardens, and they're called leopard slugs because they've got these patches on them. They kind of look leopard-like. Now, I don't know if you can see him, but there, on the right hand side, is a toad and more leopard slugs. Oh, bless him. You can tell it's a toad because he's all bumpy, whereas frogs are smooth. I'll have to put this back because he's well cosy in there he is. I don't want to disturb him too much. Oh my goodness. Very sorry about disturbing your home, slugs. Toads are nocturnal, which means that they only come out at night time, and this is because they need to keep nice and cool, and they haven't got to worry about the sun at night. So it's perfect conditions for them to be hopping about, finding their dinner and doing what toads do. In the winter, toads hibernate. So they'll go and bury themselves under a big log or a stone or even a flower pot in your garden. They'll make a little pit in the ground underneath it where they'll stay there all winter long until it's warm enough in the springtime, when they will emerge again and find a pond where they lay their eggs.
Question for the cameraman. What's the difference between a frog and a toad?
That is a really good question, Richard. What is the difference between frogs and toads? Because they are very similar, but also very different. So, they are both amphibians, they are both cold-blooded, they both lay eggs in the pond. Their eggs are slightly different, where you'll get frog spawn from frogs. Toads actually lay like a string of eggs, but still in a pond.
So if you saw them moving, could you tell the difference between a toad and a frog?
Yes, you absolutely can. So frogs, they hop, and toads, they crawl.
Oh, right.
And they're a lot slower than frogs as well. They're very slow.
Okay, they're probably older like me. Albert's just said to me, are there different types of toads?
Yes, there are different kinds of toads. Here in Great Britain anyway, there is known to be two different types. So you get the common toads, and there's also the natterjack toad. The natterjack toad is a bit smaller than the common toad. It's a lot rarer to find, and they're also very loud, because it's known that all the male toads meet up together and they sing rather loudly to attract the female toads. One of the big differences as well between these two toads is that the natterjack toad prefers the coastline, particularly where there are big sandy dunes, and they also like heathlands and salt marshes too. And both toads are protected in our country here in the UK under the Wildlife and Countryside Act.
I'm just going to interrupt this Making with Molly video for about 30 seconds because 10 years ago I was on holiday in a place called Southport, which is up in the northwest of England and has got lots of sand dunes. And while I was there, I saw a little area that had been closed off because it was where natterjack toads were, and there were a few little signs up, and while I've been talking to you, I've put those signs up so you can have a look at them. Now, back to Molly.
One really exciting fact about toads is that there has actually been sightings in our country here of toads in trees. How mad! Because this suggests that these toads are capable of climbing up trees. So next time you're out in the woods, have a little look high up in the trees, you might just spot a toad. The reason why I want a toad abode in my garden is because toads are a gardener's best friend. They will eat up all the slugs that come along and try to eat my vegetables and my flowers. So come along, toads, wherever you are, please stay in my garden and eat all them horrible slugs. Thank you for watching. Hopefully I have inspired you to go outside and have a little look for toads and maybe even make a home for them. Please send in your photos because we would absolutely love to see what kinds of toad abodes you've made at home. And until next time, I will see you then. Goodbye. Please be aware, if you have dogs at home, it might not be a good idea to make a toad abode in your garden, because if you invite lots of toads along, your dogs might just get hold of one, and the yucky liquid that toads excrete when they are threatened is highly toxic to dogs, and it can make them really poorly.